When I purchased shares in Cable Bahamas was offering a service that I appreciated. And I thought, seeing that it was something new on the block, it was interested enough for me to be a part of it. They have a chance to be the number one, particularly in mobile field. You have already earned the right to be the next provider. You've earned that from Joe Public, from the Bahamian people.
Baha Mar could lose its casino equipment. The provider gives an ultimatum, the same day as financing talks wrapped up in China. The long-awaited constitutional referendum on gender equality still expected to occur this year. Redundancies at the Bahamas telecommunications company to take place very soon. Plus, one company raises money for children with diabetes. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NB12 starts right now. Baha Mar could lose its casino equipment. This is the equipment provider for the Las Vegas-style casino at the resort has given the developer an ultimatum: make a decision on a lease and pay the rent, or risk losing $16 million worth of casino equipment. All this as the three parties involved in the ongoing saga continue negotiations in China to find a resolution and open the multi-billion-dollar resort. Kyle Joaquin reports.
It was day 2 of Baha Mar negotiations in China today, but while there is still very little word as to the outcome of that meeting, there is still new information coming out concerning the multi-billion-dollar resort. The latest now calling into question the future of the resort's prize casino.
We'll see what happens at the end of the discussions.
That was the short statement made by State Minister for Legal Affairs Damian Gomez Tuesday morning while leaving the status hearing before Supreme Court Justice Ian Winder. This as the saga into Baha Mar's financial woes and court battle continues. But the Baha Mar ordeal appears to be getting nastier by the day. The resort could now end up losing prized casino equipment in its state-of-the-art Las Vegas-style casino. In documents filed in the U.S. Bankruptcy Court in Delaware, PDS Gaming International, the company providing the gaming equipment for Baha Mar has now given the resort an ultimatum: accept or reject a lease for $16 million worth of casino equipment currently on Baha Mar premises, or be forced to pay the rent from here on in. And if the developer, Socrates Merlian, chooses to reject, PDS Gaming International would request that the court allow it to take back the more than 1,000 pieces of gaming equipment. According to the company, Baha Mar failed to fulfill its obligation to pay the basic and interim rent, which is over $700,000. Since the beginning, the casino has been the pride and joy of Baha Mar, said to be one of a kind in the Caribbean. And now one of Baha Mar's major brands, the Grand Hyatt, has filed a motion to appear in the U.S. Bankruptcy Court of Delaware. The company would be the first brand of the resort to make an appearance in the matter. Well, Gomez told reporters today if the government has to put its argument forward in the Baha Mar matter, its argument would be solid. He said as far as he's aware, all parties involved are working cordially with each other.
Good faith negotiations are in full swing, and they're continuing. We don't have any details to be able to report to you.
Prime Minister Christie said on Monday that the first day of negotiations in China with Baha Mar, its lenders and contractor went well, but that the government is prepared to act if talks fall through. Christie also said that he will meet with ratings agencies later this week to discuss, among other things, the likely implications of a Bahamian economy without Baha Mar. While the Prime Minister said major differences arose during the first day of talks in China, parties agreed to deal with them another fashion. Here's Gomez's response when asked how negotiations were going in China.
Good faith negotiations are in train, and they're continuing.
The full hearing on that matter is scheduled to take place before Justice Ian Winder next Tuesday. Meanwhile, the delegation, led by the Attorney General, is scheduled to return to Nassau on Thursday. Reporting from Baha Mar for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
As 2 days of negotiations in China with Baha Mar, its lender and contractor, concluded today, Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner slammed Prime Minister Perry Christie for sending emissaries to China despite his recent pledge to be a participant in those talks. She accused Christie of playing games. Vonik Toot reports.
Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner isn't buying Prime Minister Perry Christie's reason for sending a Bahamian delegation to China for Baha Mar talks. She says given the gravity of the situation, the Prime Minister should have made it his mission to go himself. Instead, she says he has dropped the ball and recused himself by default.
The essence of the matter is Perry Christie has once again dropped the ball. He is not in a position to speak to this because he's once again disengaged, and he has sent emissaries to do the job that the Prime Minister should essentially be doing at this point.
Days after Christie told reporters he had been invited to chair Baha Mar talks, government announced that the Attorney General would lead a delegation to China instead of Christie because there wasn't sufficient time to satisfy China's protocol requirements for receiving heads of state. However, Butler Turner says that's not good enough.
The huge delegation that went to China, is that representational of what is needed at those negotiation tables? I figured if you're speaking with the head of government in China, then the counterpart to that person should be the Prime Minister of the Bahamas. I also believe that the stakeholders in all of this are the developers, the contractors, and of course the Chinese government. So what is all of the hoopla about?
During a recent appearance on KISS FM talk show Ed Fields Live, Christie said the first day of negotiations went well, but government is prepared to act if talks fall through. However, Butler Turner says the Prime Minister should talk less and do more.
I also question the need at this time why the Prime Minister is continuously talking about what he thinks is happening in those negotiations. It's not fair that one should be commentating while the negotiations are ongoing. You see what the former Prime Minister did yesterday, or what was made known to the public yesterday. You take a hands-on approach and you deal with the issues. Perry Christie has been totally disengaged, in my opinion, and I have not seen him taking a full leadership role.
Former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram sent a letter to the chairman of China State Construction Engineering Corporation and Baha Mar CEO on July 6, expressing hope for a speedy resolution to the Baha Mar crisis. Ingram was Prime Minister when the Baha Mar developer negotiated a deal with its Chinese partners. We asked the FNM MP if she feels Ingram's released letter showed up the Prime Minister and opposition leader.
Ingram definitely showed that he had a grasp of the situation when he sat in the Prime Minister's seat. I think that Ingram did what any statesman should be doing at this time, trying to work together to ensure that all of these stakeholders reach a resolution. With regards to showing up the leader of the opposition or the current Prime Minister, I think that that is a side discussion that holds no relevance at this time. I think we as Bahamians need to realize that this is a crisis we are in, and anybody that is able to lend hand in reaching a reasonable solution to get this back on track should be commended.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonique Toot.
Though the Christie administration failed to hold a constitutional referendum in June as promised, Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis told NB12 it is his expectation that a gender vote would still take place this year.
Well, I hope that we would have dealt with that by now, and I think that is now on the agenda, and hopefully we'll do it before the end of this year. I would hope that we'll be able to vote in Parliament and have the referendum this year. Those are my expectations.
It may not happen, but that is what you expect to happen.
Yes.
And
Prime Minister Christie said in May he hoped to be able to come to the Bahamian people soon and give them answers on the gender equality referendum. He told NB12 in December that he hoped to hold the referendum by June 30th. Though opposition members say they doubt the Christie administration will move forward on the matter, Davis says government officials remain committed to the gender vote.
I think
gender equality.
I think it's very important. I mean, this day and age of entrenched discrimination against genders or male or female, it has no place in a modern Bahamas.
And you think
Government has been unable to get the unanimous support in the House for all of the bills. As a result, the bills on gender equality have yet to be passed in the House of Assembly and remain in the committee stage. The referendum has been delayed 4 times. In other news, a Bahamas Air flight attendant was taken into police custody for questioning in reference to suspected money laundering, but she was later released without charge. Chief Superintendent Sam Butler of the Drug Enforcement Unit said the woman, who was in her 40s, was stopped by United States officials at the Lyndon Pinley International Airport and was handed over to Bahamian authorities. Butler said she's since been released and no charges have been filed, and the matter is under investigation. When MB12 returns, redundancies at the Bahamas Telecommunications Company to take place very soon. Stay with us.